how did you like originally get into creating content in general? You've been doing this for over a decade, which is insane. Has that been like your full time for that long?
Yeah. So I've never done anything besides social media. I've never like worked for anybody, I guess you could say. I've never had a real 9 to 5 or anything like that. Never like a job out of high school, part-time job, nothing like that. I started content about 11 years ago, going on 12 years now, maybe. And so I came from a really, really small town of about 700 people was the population. So there was not much to do there. And I found a lot of joy in like consuming like YouTube videos, for example. And I was like, this could be something fun for me to do because I had nothing to do. I lived on like a little farm in the middle of nowhere, and the fact that I was even able to get service to do that was crazy. I actually started live streaming, and that's how I kind of got into social media. I literally would go into like my laundry room of my farmhouse because it was the only place I could get like 1 bar of service, and I would tape it to my like door because that's where the
Right.
service would kind of somehow work. Or like if it was raining, I couldn't get good service, so I would go outside in the rain with literally an umbrella and stream because I just wanted it so bad. And then I was able to build it up from there. And we did a couple of tours once my following started to kind of develop. And then Musically came out, and so I've been a TikToker since Musically, essentially. And I was able
Right.
to take my live stream following, put it into Musically, and then Musically transitioned to TikTok. And I was there at the event when that actually happened. It was really, really crazy. So what happened was they brought a bunch of us to dinner, like the top Musically creators, and said, "Yo, we're gonna merge with our partner or parent company or whatever it was, however they said it." And we were like, "This is gonna be really odd. Like, I don't know how people are going to receive it," but they said that the monthly active users was going to like quintuple. It was going to be like crazy like that with the click of a button. And so we were kind of really excited for that. And if I could get my phone to power on, I would send y'all the video of whenever they were about to do it at the event and they go, "Does everyone want to hop on stage? Y'all want to click the button?" I was on that stage. I got to click the button, which is
That's
lit.
badass.
So you got grandfather TikTok right here. Let's
That's
go.
amazing.
And yeah, from then everything just absolutely exploded, and it's been a wild ride ever since.
That's amazing. That's crazy. And that's dedication. I mean, you said you used to tape your phone to the door and then go out in the rain just to stream to get your following. Now you'd said something just a second ago that kind of puzzled me. You went on tour. Whenever I hear people say they go on tour, I think of, music or bands or things of that nature.
Correct.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on like what do you mean by going on tour?
Yeah. So it is kind of like a polarizing thing to say to some people because back in the day, like social media was a little different, right? So
Right.
you would post a big video and a following would just flow to you like that immediately, and they were very dedicated. So what would happen is like me and my friends would get together, and then a parent company who had the funds would get us like a tour bus, get us our flights, get us hotels, whatever we needed, book venues, and we would just show up and we'd put on a show. So usually what that entails is we would do like a meet and greet line first, which usually could go anywhere from like 2 to 6 hours, depending on like where we went, if we were like New York City or whatnot. And then we would do a show where we would like kind of engage with the audience. So some of my friends were really, really good singers and they built their audience off of singing. So they would sing like some of their songs that were out, some unreleased songs, and we'd also play games with the audience where we would like bring girls on stage and blindfold them, and then we would disguise our voices and we play like the dating game. So they didn't know who
Right.
they were going to win a date with. You know what I mean? And we would just have a genuine good time, just kind of bringing the content to the stage for the viewers.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's such an interesting thing to even put into perspective because, that had to have been what, back in 2017, 2018?
That was the last
somewhere?
tour I did was 2017, correct? Yeah.
2017.
Yeah.
So that you're right. I mean, content was totally different back then. You had, like you said, you'd had a flock, you'd have a following, a very loyal following, almost a cult-like following. People were diehard for their favorite creators, and that's awesome. Where did you originally start building your presence on? Was it YouTube? I see your play button in the background.
Yeah, which is lit, but that's an old one. That's like ancient. It doesn't even look like that no more. Yeah. So I actually started on a company streaming site called YouNow, which is not really like terribly big anymore. It's kind of like, no offense to them, but it has like fallen off over the past few years. But a lot of people got their start on there. Some really big YouTubers now. We all usually like we started streaming on YouNow, and that's how you would build a strong following back in the day, was from streaming. And then you could kind of push them other places like Vine and YouTube because there was no explore page. So we had to source our followers from somewhere, and live streaming YouNow was the only place you could do that. So for example, there was a top 10, right? And if I was in second place with the most viewers, followers and the first person got off, all their viewers would automatically be redirected to my stream. So it was an incredible way to grow. And then it would trickle down like 10% here, 5% here, 1% here. So as you kind of bumped up, and like if you had a lot of likes, you would go right to first place. And if you're in first place, every time someone behind you gets off, all their viewers go to you. So it
That's
was a
crazy.
really crazy format to grow. Yeah.
That's insane. And it's kind of like what people do now with TikTok. You know, they grow on TikTok because it's an explosive platform and then redirect all their followers, for instance, if they're a streamer, over to Twitch or Kick or YouTube or whatever.
Correct.
That's crazy. And then the flow of traffic is kind of like on Twitch where they will raid your stream and they'll bring their entire stream. That's insane, but it did it all automatically for the exception of the flow of traffic, that's wild.
Yeah.
I can't believe I never heard of that.
Yeah, well, it was a long time ago, and
Right.
No conspiracies or anything, but I think the reason that it kind of fell off was because they contracted us towards the end there, and then as places like Musical.ly and YouTube were releasing streaming, we were not allowed to, and there was much more of a strong presence over there, and that's kind of where we shifted our attention.
Right.
But yeah,
those are your bigger platforms anyway. Well, especially now.
Yeah. Exactly right. So everyone just kind of made the jump and did kind of the right thing, and they're all still pretty successful as well. But yeah, it's funny talking about it because a lot of people are like, "What the heck is Unau?" I actually got a comment today when I was doing my stream for Social Army. Someone was like, "Yo, Nathan from Unau." I was like, "Whoa, that was like a decade ago. That's crazy that you're in here right now."
That's insane.
Yeah. So
that
they
just goes
joined
to show.
Social Army, which was lit.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. A day one Nathan fan in Social Army. I love it. That just goes to show how powerful, I mean, your presence online has been. You have people that are still remember you from, like you said, a decade ago. Like that's just wild to me. Wild.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get to your following that you have on TikTok now? I mean, you've got just shy of 10 million. You have 10 million followers on TikTok. Like that's insane.
Yeah. So I mean, once the Musical.ly, so when it was Musical.ly, I had about 2 million followers, and then when the TikTok shift happened, it was just so explosive. Like one day, I gained literally 1 million followers in less than 24 hours because we had a video go stupid crazy that I did a collaboration on with my good friend Alex, who does travel content now. But both of ours blew up, and we both gained 1 million followers in a day. So we hold one of the records for the most followers ever gained. Which is really, really cool. Obviously, we're not number one now because now it's like so much even bigger now, which is crazy. But to me, 1 million followers in 24 hours is like, holy crap, that's insane. Like the fact that we were able to do that is insane. But yeah, and then just over the years, I was really able to grow it. And of course, like starting Shop, I did have over 10 million followers, but when I started Shop, the viewership kind of shifted because they're like, oh, he's doing Shop. So a lot of people did unfollow, but it's slowly starting to like level out, which is really, really cool. So hopefully we'll be able to take that back over the 10 million mark.
Right, and I don't think that you'll fall below it any further than what you currently are because it is kind of a jarring effect when people start seeing their quote unquote favorite creator start posting shop videos. It's one of those, and I'm not saying this, calling you this by any means necessary, but it's one of those sellout moments, right? Where people are like, oh, he's shifting his content to something ad-like. We don't like this, blah, 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 blah. So people start losing that follower, which is unfortunate because it's not like you've changed. Your videos are still, from what I've seen, very similar to your style of content.
Correct.
Now you're just integrating products. It's still the same funny, goofy Nathan that I think everybody should know, just now you're figuring out other ways to monetize it because TikTok, no shade at TikTok here, but the monetization on that platform outside of Shop is horrible. The viewership, it's just bad. It's so bad. So like if they want their creators to continue to do well, Shop is really one of the only places for a lot of these creators to go in and monetize their content in the right way. It sucks because there's this really bad stigma on the internet where people refuse to buy from affiliates because they, for some reason, have this idea in their head that they're paying more for it. And there's this disgusting comment section. How do I buy this without giving you commission? Where do I find this without giving you commission? It's weird to me, man. But to each their own. I forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, your content's great. It hasn't really shifted. So I fully expect to see your followers to gain, especially as you get more of these viral shop videos, because you're absolutely killing it. Right now, what is your most viral shop video? Do you know?
Yeah, so I did I got inspiration from another creator who is promoting water flossers, and I was like, that's a pretty cool product, because like I've always wanted a water flosser. So I just got it, and I made about 4 videos with it. Nothing really happened, and then about like 3 weeks later, one just started taking off like explosively, and I mean like crazy, because it's sitting now at about like I think 23 million views, which
Holy
is
shit.
really crazy. Yeah, and it got 23 million views really quickly. And that video did pretty well, like GMV wise. I think that got me over 200,000 GMV like within a couple
Wow.
weeks. And then afterwards, my second biggest video was like those boom boom sticks. And the conversions for those were just crazy. So usually like what I do when I'm looking to make a viral video like that is I have a concept of a video in my head. And then I'm like, okay, now what product can I put into this to make sense? So essentially I'll use the product, the TikTok Shop product as a prop. And that's usually how I can continue to make those viral style videos and make them shoppable. And like what you said about monetization, it's crazy because I was doing TikTok for what? Like how many years is it around? Like almost 5 years now, or maybe longer. I don't even remember. It's been a while, maybe
20
longer.
like 20 oh god, was it 2018 when they really started rolling it all out, I think?
Yeah, so it's been about going on shoot 6 years or something. And with all those years I was on TikTok, I had made probably like $15,000 from the Creator Fund. And then
2016. Sorry, 20. I had to look it up real quick.
yeah,
September
okay.
of 2016 is when it launched. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So almost a decade of the creator program where they were like paying you nothing for views. And then in 1 week on TikTok Shop, I made more than I did in all those years for my views on TikTok. 1 week.
That's
Because I had like a $28,000 week or something, which
right.
just destroyed the creator fund on TikTok.
Thousand
Destroyed
percent.
it.